All right, welcome. This is a big, huge week. If you're playing along in real time, or even if you're out of sync by a day or even a week, or hell, maybe who knows, even a month or two, oh, you're in the right place at the right time. There's some big stuff happening in the undercurrent of each of our lives. And we've got the Venus retrograde we've been speaking about in other classes. We've got this week a full lunar eclipse in Virgo in the South Node, which is all about releasing perfectionism and releasing outdated patterns that aren't serving, and really up-leveling to a new place of being able to live in empowerment. And it's right also on the beginning, the brink of the planet Mercury, who's in charge of communication and just all things tech and the way we interact and open up in our way, verbally and in our relationships and so forth. So a lot going on right now. And so what I've been advised to do, and I'm going to do to the best of my ability, is to make sure you take a lot of time for yourself this week to go down in the undercurrent of you and just really find your empowered self. Let that deeply empowered self, the part of you that knows how to let go of the grunties. It's a cool Sanskrit word, grunty. And if you think of your spine as a thread or a chain, and over time we accumulate knots. When if you like threw that thread or chain in just a bag and you kind of tossed it around, and the bag called life, and what happens is it starts to kind of knot up over time, and we hold emotions, we hold tension, we hold outdated patterns, and then all of a sudden when we're ready to realize one and create some space for the unraveling of the knot, then some magic can happen. So I hope that's what you're going to see as things present themselves. Challenges, surprises, good stuff, challenge, all the flavors of life. So we're going to work today in a practice that's designed to release tension in your sacrum, your lower back, and your hips. So right on. Just draw your hands to your heart. And just soften into your breath. And if you can become receptive enough, the breath is one of the most potent healers, teachers, guides, gurus you've got on your team. And when the going gets rough, the breath needs to get flowing. So just smooth out exhales. Let the exhale carry away any tension. Go ahead and mindfully refine your seated pose. And just make sure that your pelvic floor feels nice and level. You feel supported. And we'll just take that beautiful sound that reminds us that all things come in cycles. We have this fallow place where things that have already let go and released are lying fallow, waiting for rebirth. There are parts of you that are in rebirth phase. There are parts of you that are in sustainment phase, the maturation phase, the beauty phase. And there are certainly parts of you that are clinging to the vine and not quite sure how to let go and release. And then eventually you get the help you need, and it just one fell swoop or one deep breath, you can let things go. So the sound Om is the encoded pranava, that bija mantra that holds all cycles. And today we'll focus on the phase, the release, the let go. So deep breath in, soft breath out, deep breath in. Om. Give yourself time to take 2 more ohms and really make sure that you find enough breath that you can your way. You can press the lips together and you can release through the sound of your om. I'll just sit in silence, and you've probably done your 2 by now. So, all right. I invite you to come onto your back. You'll need 2 blocks with you. And place also a blanket on your sticky mat so that you have a nice soft place to put your sacrum, that triangular shaped bone in your lower back. And when you come onto your back, you'll put your blocks on their medium height and right up under the upper hips, outer upper hips, and with your feet together and the knees wide and the blocks supporting the outer thighs. Let your hands rest on your belly, the thumb just below the belly button, and the fingertips pointing down towards your sacrum. And most of you will need to push through the baby toe edge of your feet and pick up your hips a little bit. Lengthen the tailbone so that you set the top side of your sacrum that's closest to your lower back. You set it down a little more flatly. So go ahead and lie back. I'm just making sure you're in the good shape. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana, the supine goddess pose. And you'll need those 2 blocks under the outer upper thighs. If you don't have blocks, you can go find some towels. And I want you to just start to find a very subtle but very sweet, loving, kind, compassionate to you breath. And with any luck at all, the inhalation is going to gently call the base of the pubic bone downward towards the sticky mat. And then the exhale will gently call the tailbone long towards your heels. So you'll feel a little bit of inner spiral as you inhale. And a little bit, I'm talking fraction of outer spiral as you exhale. So don't try to see if you can go in, because your breath is the guru here. Your breath is the teacher. And this is time for you to slow down, pause, take a sacred moment. And you want to really get to that place where you can feel some of the beauty of life, releasing and dissolving some of the stress of life. Held from below and from within. Let your bones get heavy, let your breath get deeper. Just imagine your breath as a way to handle the knots with some patience. And we'll just gently rub your palms together so you create a little bit of warmth. If you've got on glasses, you'll take them off. And we're going to cup your eyes. So let yourself go even deeper into that beauty of the mind. The mind can get stuck in its fears, its wounds, its grunties. So within your physical body, you have over 72,000 energetic channels, 72,000. And the grunties block the energy flow. So as you drop into that sweeter, deeper breath, let the softness behind your eyes travel down through your throat, to your chest, the back of your heart, to your belly, all the way to where your lower back meets the hips. And now really soften out and replace your hands to the pelvic bowl and let the energy below your palms start to unwind the sacrum. And this is hard for a lot of people to do. It's hard to take 60 seconds, 60 seconds to slowly close your knees, and I'll count them for you. So when you start to find a little bit of shake, shimmy, bobble, wobble, sewing machine kind of leg action, see if you can hold the opening wherever it is. For some of you, it'll be closer to where the knees close. For some of you, it'll be halfway up. For some of you, it may not even happen, but keep the tailbone gently long and slowly from 60 to 59 to 58 to 57, 56, 55 to 54 to 53 to 52 to 51 to 50 to 49 to 48 to 47, 46 to 45 to 44 to 43 to 42 to 41. Nice slow breaths to 39 to 38 to 37 to 36 to 35 to 34, 33, 32, 31, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let the knees knock together and the feet go wider apart. Take a nice long inhale through your mouth. And exhale, let it go. Beautiful. So take the blocks away and move them out towards your ears. And let the feet move towards the right side of your sticky mat. Pick up your hips, shift the hips to the right, and then roll to the outer left hip, stacking right knee over left knee. Cactus arms. And fall in love with your breath. Tap the sole of your right foot to the floor as you lift that right knee, and then pull the left knee in. Pick up your hips, set them down in the center. Walk both feet to your left. Pick up the hips again and move them left. And then take the knees to the right, stacking left knee towards right knee. And try not to force or contrive a shape. If one hip is tighter, you don't want to push that knee down. You don't want to force it. Just let the tension inside your hips actually be felt and use it. Hold it. Let it hold you, and then breathe your way into it and see if maybe you need to reposition the feet or the knees. And like you did before, you'll take that sole of your left foot, place it down on the floor, lifting the left knee so that you can then roll the right knee. Sole comes flat, pick up your hips, set them down right in the middle. And with your exhalation now, tone the abdominal muscles quite a bit. And then use the strength of the abdominal muscles to pick your feet up and hold your knees with your hands. Flex your ankles, spread your toes, and very gently push your knees up into your fingers and press your feet towards the bottom of your sticky mat. Try to keep the navel strong so it's pulling down and in towards your core. Knees can go wide. And this will put the lower back in just a tiny bit of traction. So with the exhalation, you want to remember the tailbone muscles get a little stronger. And with the inhalation, the pubic bone and kind of starts to roll and tilt. It's a little inner spiral. Now gently rock yourself side to side and just fall in love with the gentle rock of you, softening any tension in the sacrum, the low back. And if at any point you need a nice soft sigh out your mouth or an breath where you take the last phase of Om and just rock it out. Now come back to center. Place the sole of your right foot on the floor, and we'll take a figure 4 with that left ankle over the right thigh. Heel toe the right foot over to the left side of your sticky mat, and then twist to the right so that the sole of your left foot can come down. You can let the thigh of the right leg hold the ankle of the left leg. And we'll take the same hand as the top leg and gently push the femur bone down and away from your belly with your palm. Deep breath in, releasing breath out. Rolling to the right big toe, come back to figure 4, place the right foot more in the middle so that you can pick up your hips and set them down. And then reach through the window of your legs with your exhalation, tone the core, and hold the back of your left thigh with clasped hands. Do a little bit of a stretch. And I'm going to invite you to take some little tiny rocks here. It might be rocking left and right, or you might even enjoy a really small circular movement with your figure 4. Go ahead and try to flex the ankle of the foot that's lifted onto the, yep. And deep breath in, long breath out. Take the palm of your right hand to the calf muscle of your lifted, your left, whatever, the leg that's on top, same hand. Hold the calf. And then reach over and hold the heel with the other palm. And then place that foot down. So you're still on your back. Yeah. And then push from the hip to the heel and try to take the lifted leg over to the side. And then back off and take the knee wider towards the outside of you. And then gently push from the hip to the heel into the palm and try to move that leg across. If you want to, you can move one hand to the knee while you hold the heel. It feels better. And just kind of rock yourself by pushing through the heel and then relax as you open the knee back out to the side of you. And see how far that leg wants to go. And push. And that'll help you engage the glute muscles, I hope, the outer hip muscles, the core muscles. And then it's a slow release as you open back out. Take that lifted foot, place it back on the floor. And we'll take a very small little bridge pose. So a little symmetry. You've got a kitty on your belly. Oh, that'll be so cool. I love it. Deep breaths, little baby bridge pose here. And think of unwinding the grunties of the spine as you lower down one vertebrae at a time. Strengthen your tailbone. Hips all the way down. Beautiful. Tone your core with exhale. Lift the right leg up and take a figure 4. Heel toe the left foot to the right. And as you take a twisted figure 4, right sole of your foot goes all the way down to the floor. And just breathe into what you feel. Take the same hand as that top leg and give the thigh bone a little push away from your belly. Deep, deep breath. And then slowly you'll roll to the left big toe to come out of the pose, keeping the right leg up in figure 4. Tone the core and reach through and hold the back of the left leg with both hands. Try to soften any tension around the base of your neck, around your eyes, around your throat, and just find those little rocks side to side, or maybe your hip circles, your little baby movements, undulations of cow and cat, and some variation of you. Then we'll keep the leg that's on top and you'll hold the heel and place the other foot back down on the floor. And then from the hip to the foot, push the palm into your hand, create some strength in the glute and the core. And then slowly let that knee move back towards the outside. And then with your breath, so it might be an exhalation that gives you the push. And it might be the inhale that opens wide. And it might be either way you see it, either way it comes to you. Just stay with the breath and use the guru, the wise, wise you, connected to breath in your body. Oh. And then we'll place that foot on the floor and take that really baby bridge pose. And nice long sighs once you're up there. Just find a nice long breath and let the symmetry of the pose, the shape, be breathed equally left and right, front and back. And then use the exhalation to roll through each vertebrae of the spine. Little cat tilt through the pelvic floor so that you literally roll through the vertebrae as you set the sacrum. The top of the sacrum comes to the mat before the bottom of the sacrum. Good, good. And now we'll roll to one side and come up to all fours. And take some simple cow and cat. And just let things unfold here. Ah. And then we'll take downward dog. So unlocking the tension and the stress from the hips and the lower back. Bend the knees quite a bit so that you can keep the sitting bones lifted as you push through the ball mounds of the big toe side of your foot. Lift the armpits, tone your core. And then see here if you can push through the balls of your feet, big toe to baby toe, and gently tone the lowest fibers of your glutes. Beautiful. Inhale to your knees. Now point your toes and bring the big toes together with the knees wide, and we'll sit back on your heels. Yeah, and this one is, it's a very active child's pose. I call it the child's pose abdominal drill. And it may not be possible to keep the belly off of the thighs entirely, but we want to pull the tailbone and the buttocks flesh down. So it's an action of outer spiral where that'll make the front of the hips that usually want to sink towards the thighs, pull the front of the pelvis up and back. So you literally tone this part of your body right above the pubic bone to the navel. It's supra, above the pubis, suprapubis. So you want to be able to tone with your exhale and really take those deep lower belly muscles, the suprapubis muscles, and press the air out. And then we'll bring fingertips to the sticky mat. Lift up through the heart, but keep the suprapubis area very active. And then little by little, you'll come to bring the forehead towards the floor, but it's not a race. It's like that 60-second knee close where you want to see how strong can you get. So this is for your core. And you're deepening the breath. You can gently tone the knees towards the midline between them. And just see, keep your hips to your heels. And the hands can go forward and they could go wide. You can work your way into this child's pose abdominal drill by strengthening the front of the belly, the sacral. Your sacrum has a front side. And it's right between that space where your belly button and your pubic bone live. So let that part of you get stronger. So you can release the tension. And it may not feel like you're releasing tension right now, but don't hold your breath. Now push down through your shins and your fingers, lift your throat so it's parallel with the floor, and then rise up. And that should have felt like a very gentle but powerful workout. Let's come to downward dog when you're ready. And we'll walk over your blanket if you have one still on your sticky mat, and we'll come all the way to the very front of your mat in a forward fold, and we'll take blocks, bend the knees, pull the armpits forward so your shoulders come towards your ears. And then as you push the upper thighs back like a cow tilt, that's inner spiral. So find the curve of the lower back. Maintain that and then tone the lower belly in and gently pull the tailbone down. And that should feel like you anchored yourself inside your body. Now step the left leg back in a nice long lunge. Walk your blocks back so they line up more, so they're right under your wrist, and you can pad the back knee. Now we'll take the belly and lift it up by pushing down through your front foot. See if you can lift that front hip bone off of the front thigh bone. And we're moving towards a radical apex pose for this practice. The radical apex pose is called Happy Baby. But I take it seriously because a lot of people have no business going to the full Happy Baby where they're holding their feet if they can't keep the segments of their spine working, if they can't keep their core strong, if they can't keep their glutes active, because otherwise it just becomes too much compression in the hips. So find your strength and let things unwind. And I'll give you one shot at watching a collapse moment in my body. And I'm going to put my hand here so that you can see it. I'll actually even move closer to the camera. I'll give you one shot at seeing a collapse pose, and that's collapse. Did you see what I just did? I just let the belly go. I let the water of the belly spill. I let the hip just completely push down onto that femur bone. And what I'm asking you to do is not that. So keep the belly button back. You can go deeper into a lunge without collapsing, but it requires unwinding some holding tension in order to unwind tension. And then we'll back off out of that and switch sides. And we'll just start in what looks like just a no big deal kind of pose. So you could collapse down, and if you did so, you wouldn't be able to put a hand inside the crease of your hip. So we want to pull that hip bone, the pointy one, off of the femur bone. And as long as you can maintain some space here and some strength in the glute, you're basically doing a variation of half Happy Baby. Yeah. Good. And come out of there. Downward dog. And we'll practice coming back into a child's pose where the big toes come together, knees wide, but this time we'll do it like normal, but just you keep the hands forward, but try to keep the belly lifted, the hip bones lifted. And then soften your way in. No collapse, lots of empowerment. So we're sustaining, we're in the sustainment phase. Parts of your life are in their full beauty, their full glory. How can you draw into that strength and trust it even more? Just scary. And then we can really allow the out breath, the exhalation, to dissolve outdated patterns and tension. Inhale forward. And let's take some undulations where you'll move through a cow and a cat in your hips. Circles. And then switch that direction. Perfect. All right, so let's take, believe it or not, Ananda Balasana takes some hamstring opening. So we'll take a half Hanuman. Ananda Balasana means the blissful baby, the happy baby. Ananda is the, the deepest bliss that you can find, and it comes ever so fleetingly. It's like seeing a deer in the forest. Ananda. Now I'm going to take the hand of the same leg that's forward and move it from the outside of the thigh to the underside, but all the way up inside the upper inner thigh if you can. So see if you can get your hand way in there. And then pull, as you anchor your heel, you'll pull that hamstring muscles nice and wide. It's called the inner spiral. It's unwinding the fascia of the hamstrings. So now keep the hand pulling, and now we'll outer spiral. So squeeze the outer hip down and under, like you just did in that lunge, like a cat tilt. And release. And just we'll stand here for a moment. Right on your knees, just nice long exhales. And then you get to switch sides. So find your half Ardha Hanumanasana. That means the hips stay over the back knee, press through the heels, spread your toes. We worked a lot last week on the actions of your feet. So I hope the actions have sealed. Now, when you find a stretch in your body, then we'll take the hand and we'll take the inner spiral. When you find a stretch in your body, if it's too intense, you tend to hold the breath. So you want to work at a pace where the breath stays so soft and so fluid. And if you keep those hamstrings opening wide, now compact and even tone the core, lift it up and compact the outer hip down and under. And where the hamstrings are really tight, that's where you get to use the beautiful power of the mind to go in and unwind the knots with your breath. And when the energetic knots start to dissipate from the physical body, we can find space in emotionally, mentally, and it also works in the other direction. We'll release that and come to standing on the knees and just feel that nice warm sensation of blood moving down the leg you just opened up. We'll open the arms, hold the right wrist, and arc it over. Several weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago, or a year ago, I don't know, but we found the latissimus dorsi muscle on the back body. I opened that up. Remember that? That was like forever ago. Inhale in the center. And then other way. But find that here and just the general form and shape of happy baby is a deep, deep forward fold. And you ultimately, if we can get there, you will, reach up and hold your feet. So you need some long side bodies. Inhale up. And let go of any tension in the head, neck, or shoulders. Ooh, I had a bad ski crash yesterday and my neck is so angry. All right. Come onto your back. I'm going to take right foot up and hold the knee, the shin, the ankle, not your foot yet. And pull down with your hand, but push up with your foot and see if you can create some space. Now, also try to firm the glute. Take the knee a little wider than your shoulders or your ribs. Now with your exhale, tone your core and pull the leg that's still on the floor, that left leg, pull the femur bone towards your hip socket energetically and physically. See if you can anchor that hip. Keeping the core strong, curl up with your core strength and bring that left hand to the heel. And then lay yourself back down. Push the heel up into your hands so that the outer hip gets stronger. Now maybe right hand to baby toe side and you push the baby toe up into the finger pads of that right hand. So there's more of a press up than there is a pull down, but there's both. Now soften into your breath. And we'll release that half happy baby and take a windshield wiper twist to your left. Inhale to center, placing both feet on the sticky mat, pick up your hips, set them back down. We'll take half happy baby, holding the knee, the shin, or the ankle of your left foot. Try to place the elbow more towards your inner knee. And as you pull down on the shin bone, push from the glute up through your heel bone. And that knee can go wider than the ribs or the shoulder. With your exhalation, tone the core and see if you can pull the right leg femur bone towards the hip socket. Keep the core strong, curl up, right hand to your heel. Push from the hip to the heel. Left hand to baby toe. And maybe you curl back down. Only if you can keep the space in the hip, front of the hip, like your lunge. And this is a deep unwinding inside the lower back and the sacrum. Slowly release. Place both feet nice and wide, windshield wiper to your right. And we'll come back to center. Hold your ankles with your feet together and your knees nice and wide. Feet up off the floor. Pull the heels towards your inner groins. And just see if you can very subtly, very softly firm your outer hips. Strengthen the core, lift your head, reach up and find the baby toe, and then lay your head back down and pause. Push from your glute up through the heels to lift the feet up and take the inner thighs wider than your ribs. And here you are, Ananda Balasana, keeping strength in the belly, strength in your core. And find that subtle pulsation inside the hips with your breath. And maybe your happy baby wants to rock a little bit across the sacrum. And maybe one heel wants to pull in towards the pubic bone while the other leg extends out to the side of your room. Babies just love to, if you could, you'd put your foot in your mouth. And remember, there's as much push up, if not more, than the pull down. And then one more time, bring the feet together, knees wide, pull down on the ankles so your heels pull towards your groin, and see if you can firm the outer hips and open the knees. Yeah. Now we'll go back into the same pose we started, and that's where the baby toe edge of your foot comes down to the floor, and you can take those two blocks and support you from below in Supta Baddha Konasana. And just let your body open up here. So feel the shift in the way the pose feels now as the way it did at the beginning. And if it helps, you'll push through the baby toe side of your feet, pick up your hips, stretch the hips towards your blocks, and then set the hips down. And really dive into the guru of your breath here. So we're here to open and release tension through posture and breath. Let out a deep sigh. So if you were to be able to unwind like a silk cord or a chain, like a necklace, if you had to bring in your breath and your patience and unwind, it's the TLC, the handling with care, that allows your body to release the tension. Now you can decide how you'd like your Shavasana to be, and it's going to be a really nice long one, I promise. Would you like to support yourself underneath the knees with your two blocks? Would you like to put your feet up the wall? Would you like a blanket or a sweatshirt? And as you take your corpse pose, You'll just drop back in and soften into the breath. And we'll take the first few minutes of Shavasana as some pranayama practice, some breath practice. And we'll start by finding even inhale to even exhale. And that could be 4 in, 4 out. It's always a good place to start. And once you find the place where the part of your breath that's not so natural for you, part of your breath where you're like, yeah, that was always a little bit skimpy or short, or I feel less connected to the inhale, or maybe it's your exhale. So you want to back off and see how to level out the breath. And once you find your magic number, if it's 3 in, 3 out, 4 in, 4 out, whatever it is, I'll use 4 as my example. 4 count inhale, 4 count exhale, 4 count inhale, 4 count exhale, 4 count inhale, and a 5 count exhale. 4 count inhale, 5 count exhale. And you want to really tone the abdominals and really press out the exhale. 4 count in. If possible, a 6 count exhale. 4 count inhale. 6 count exhale. 4 count in. Maybe a 7 count out. And if that makes you feel like you grasp for that 4 count inhale, then back off, go back down. This is about using the breath to release the knots, not to create more. And if possible, now a 4 count inhale and an 8 exhale. Really slow. Use your core muscles, use your pelvic floor muscles. And then slow down the 4 count inhale, like you're sipping through a straw. And some of you are going to notice that as you exhale, you get these little pops or clicks in various places of your body, not really your joints, but it's the grunties opening up in the nadis, the energetic channels that are blocked. The knots are starting to open. And now we'll go to normal, natural breath. So just whatever that means to you, normal, natural breath. Let go that ujjayi breath. And here you are in that final releasing pose. All right, now let your breath start to naturally deepen. And let the naturally deepening breath open up fingers and toes and wrists and ankles, and just find the sweet space that your practice opened for you. And your own sweet time, you'll find movements that lead you to a fetal pose. And you'll stay just as soft and patient as you were this whole practice. This is a very advanced practice. Very advanced practice. And really let the belly release, let any tension you're holding. One more time, so it's a conscious effort or conscious intention. It's mindful to release. And then the hips get to stay heavy and grounded because we've just sunk the energy down into our being. So let the hips stay heavy and come up to your seat. And this would be a great place for you to decide where you want your hands to rest. And it doesn't matter what shape they take, what feels the best to you. See if you can sit up out of your own anchored, settled being. And just enjoy what you feel, enjoy what reveals itself. This sacred pause, I hope, is something that you can find again and again and again throughout this week ahead, even if it's just little snippets of this slow pace and deeper breaths, moments to find bliss and joy, and remember that it's all going to be okay. Everything's already all right. Bring the hands to your heart. Hmm. Yeah, nice slow deep breath in. Beautifully long breath out. Inhale. the unraveling of you be to the deepest and highest service of you. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you from your sleepy girl over here.
East Coasters, this is a good one. Go straight to bed.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Love you. Happy birthday. And thank you for giving us that book to read. I'm so enjoying that.
Oh yes, please join us in the fifth sacred thing. That's an amazing. It's a poignant and powerful book in a very pivotal time in our time together as humans here on this planet. So, the fifth sacred thing by Starhawk, and we'll be having the discussion on I think it's April 8th or something like that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
You don't have to even read the book to come to the discussion.
See you later.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.